Good afternoon, grade 10 tourism learners. My name is Serena Jordan and I am the subject specialist for tourism at Impact. Today we're going to discuss domestic tourism and statistics. We are just going to give 2 more minutes just to ensure that everybody logs in and to share that everybody is settled before we start the session. So just give us 2 minutes, then we will start with the session. Hey, good afternoon once again, grade 10 tourism learners. It seems like everybody is now registered and with us in this session, so I think we can start. I just quickly want to say that please just be patient. This is once again going to be a dual session. In other words, I will be presenting in Afrikaans and English. So if you could just bear with me with regards to that. So net vir die Afrikaans leerders, goeiemiddag. Ons gaan vandag kyk na binnelandse toerisme en dan ook die statistieke rondom binnelandse toerisme. Net sodat julle ook weet, hierdie gaan 'n dual session wees. Met ander woorde, ons gaan Afrikaans en Engels aanbied, so as julle net geduldig met my sal wees in die verband. Goed, so kom ons kyk. Just a few basics that we need to go over once again, just to make sure that everybody is on the same page and that everybody understands what to do and what needs to happen before the session can start. So if you're struggling to hear me, please make sure that your audio is on and that your speaker volume is turned up. You will automatically be muted when joining this session. Should you have any questions or during the session, I will ask if all of you are still with me and that you understand what I'm saying and that you hear what I'm saying. I will ask you to raise your hand. So if you can just familiarize yourself and find the raise your hand icon so that we can make sure that everybody is still on the right track. So you can also download the presentation and additional resources in the handout box below or on your right. You will find all this information in the question box on your right. And please remember to send me any and all of your questions. Please type it for me in the question box. I am just scared that we won't have enough time to go through everything. So please, if you have any questions, type it for us in the question box. Just to note that all attendees are encouraged to ask questions and leave comments. However, irrelevant or inappropriate comments will result in the attendee being dismissed from this session. If we did not get to your question, please send an email to academics@impact.co.za. Questions in the question box will be answered and made available afterwards. If you did not receive the questions and answers, please send an email to info@impact.co.za. And then you can also find this recording or any other previous recordings on our Impact YouTube channel, and here you can see the link to follow to go to that channel, and you can download all the YouTube videos from there. So net vir die Afrikaanse leerders, asseblief as jy sukkel om my te hoor, maak seker dat jou audio aan is en dat jou volume hard gestel is. Maak ook seker of weet net dat jy is outomaties gemute as jy deel vorm van hierdie sessie. Maak ook seker dat jy weet waar die raise your hand button is. Julle sal sien dit is 'n handjie. Want hierdie sessie gaan ek net vra of almal nog reg is en almal nog op trek is, sodat ek net weet dat julle almal nog met my is in terme van die sessie en van die inhoud wat ons behandel. Julle kan dan hierdie presentation of hierdie slideshow kan julle gaan aflaai in die handout box. Asseblief gee vir my al julle vrae of sit vir my al julle vrae in die question box. As ons nie gedurende die sessie daarby uitkom nie, sal ek dit vir julle na die tyd beantwoord. En asseblief, almal wat deelneem, julle is meer as welkom enige vrae te vra of kommentaar te lewer, maar as dit irrelevant of nie gepas is nie, gaan julle van die sessie afgehaal word. As ons nie aan jou vraag of as ons nie jou vraag beantwoord het nie, asseblief stuur vir ons 'n e-pos aan academics@impact.co.za. En dan as jy enigiets gemis het of as jy enige vrae of enige iets nog nodig het, stuur asseblief vir ons 'n e-pos aan info@impact.co.za. En dan julle kan ons Impact YouTube kanaal gaan volg vir die opnames van hierdie spesifieke sessie of van enige vorige sessie kan julle alles daar gaan aflaai. Okay, so let's start with the content. Once again, if you're just going to have an overview of term 2. So for today, we're going to handle or cover week 6 and week 7, which is with regards to domestic tourism and the statistics about domestic tourism. So we're going to look at both of these topics today. So as ons kyk na die oorsig van termyn 2 of kwartaal 2 se inhoud, gaan ons kyk na week 6 en week 7 gelyktydig vandag. En dit is met ander woorde ons binnelandse toerisme en die statistieke rondom binnelandse toerisme. Okay, so first of all, before we go on to anything else, we need to understand and see what the concept domestic tourism means to us. Okay, so if we look at domestic tourism of binnelandse toerisme, what is domestic tourism? So domestic tourism is going on day trips or going away for short times. And then more importantly, it is holidays in our own country. Okay, so we will see that the domestic market has grown over the past 20 years, and the amount of people in South Africa that can afford to travel has steadily increased after the 1994 when democracy was introduced in our country. Domestic tourism is very, very valuable to our economy because it generates income because of the money that is spent by tourists, and it creates jobs because of the need that domestic tourism creates. So domestic tourism contributes more or less 83% of the total visitors market in South Africa, and it also contributes about 60% to the total amount of money spent in the tourism sector. The reason for this is that our foreign tourists generally spend more money than our domestic tourists because it's foreign money that comes into our country that they spend within our country. But there are still some negative impacts on domestic tourism, and the 4 negative impacts that we're going to look at, or that is the most prominent in our country, is first of all the unemployment levels, the high interest rate or inflation rates, and then the amount of money available to spend for domestic tourism, and then also the lack of tourism in our country. So first of all, if we look at the unemployment levels in South Africa, as you all know, South Africa has a very large unemployment percentage, which means that a large percentage of our country can't afford to go on tourist-related trips, and that has a negative influence on our domestic tourism. Also, the high interest rates or inflation rates reduces the amount of money that people have available. So because they have to pay such a high interest rate, it means that they have less money that they can actually spend, because the money that they have, they would rather spend on necessities like clothing and food and housing. Okay, then the amount of money people have available to spend, our living expenses are regularly increasing, and the less money, and that means that they have less money to spend on travel. Then in South Africa, there is a lack of tourist culture, which means that a larger percentage of South Africans don't have the need to undertake. So it's not a need or a necessity for them to undertake tourist-related trips. And they are also not used to the concept of tourism. So these 4 are the 4 major negative impacts that we have on domestic tourism. Goed, so dan net vir die Afrikaanse leerders. Wat is binnelandse toerisme? So binnelandse toerisme is om op daguitstappies te gaan of om op kort, net vir kort brikkies weg te gaan. En dan mees belangrikste is dit beteken dat ons vakansie hou in ons eie land. So met ander woorde, binnelandse toerisme, ons reis binne ons eie land. Goed, so die binnelandse mark het gegroei oor die afgelope 20 jaar en die hoeveelheid mense wat in Suid-Afrika kan rondtoer het redelik begin toeneem na 1994, nadat demokrasie in ons land bekend gestel is. En dan binnelandse toerisme is ook baie waardevol vir ons ekonomie, want dit verseker dat ons inkomste kry in ons land en dit help om werk te skep. Want sodra ons inkomste kry, is daar dan ook 'n behoefte aan sekere dinge in die toerismebedryf wat beteken dat daar dan ook werk geskep word vir mense. Die binnelandse toerisme dra by tot omtrent 83% van die totale besoekersmark in Suid-Afrika en dra omtrent 60% by tot die totale hoeveelheid geld wat in die toerisme sektor spandeer word. Die rede hiervoor is dat ons buitelandse toeriste nog steeds meer geld spandeer as ons binnelandse toeriste, so dat ons buitelandse toeriste dra meer by tot die inkomste of tot die geld wat spandeer word dan in ons land met betrekking tot toerisme. Dan kyk ons ook na die 4 verskillende aspekte wat bydra tot die negatiewe impak wat daar is op binnelandse toerisme. Die 4 faktore of die 4 impakte wat daar is dan die werkloosheidsvlakke in ons land, die hoë rentekoerse en inflasiekoerse in ons land, en dan ook die hoeveelheid geld wat mense beskikbaar het om te spandeer, en dan ook die gebrek aan 'n toerismekultuur. So as ons dan eerstens kyk na die werkloosheidssyfers in ons land, soos julle almal weet, het Suid-Afrika 'n hoë persentasie werkloosheidssyfer en dit beteken dat toeriste dan nie noodwendig geld het of dit kan bekostig om te kan toer nie. Dan ook met betrekking tot die hoë rentekoerse en inflasiekoerse beteken dit verminder die geld wat mense op die ou einde uitkry om te kan spandeer op sekere dinge. En dit beteken dat hulle eerder hulle geld sal spandeer op noodsaaklikhede soos klere en kos en behuising vir hulle gesinne. Goed, dan ook die hoeveelheid geld wat ons beskikbaar het. Ons lewenskoste verhoog jaarliks of selfs maandeliks en dit beteken dat mense dan minder geld het om te spandeer om te reis. Dan het ons ook ongelukkig 'n gebrek aan 'n toeristekultuur in ons land. Dit is nie noodwendig vir mense 'n noodsaaklikheid om wel te toer of wel om met vakansie te gaan nie. En dan is mense ook nie gewoond aan die konsep van toerisme nie. So dit is iets of dit is 'n uitdaging in ons land wat ons meer kan bereik of meer vir mense kan blootstel om aan toerisme gewoond te raak en dan ook om 'n toerismekultuur te bevorder. Okay. The next section that we're going to look at is the benefits of domestic tourism for South Africa. So the number of South Africans going on tourist-related trips has gradually increased. So there has been an increase in our domestic tourism. So it's not as if there's no domestic tourism happening in our country. Research has shown that in 2009, plus minus 50 million South Africans made a total amount of 35 million domestic trips, which also shows you the increase in domestic tourism. Large amount of domestic travel influence our economy and our environment. Our economy, which means that we get more money in our country, and the environment, which means that we have to protect and protect our environment for future generations so that the income or so that the economy can still grow. So if we protect the environment, we can make sure that there is something that people can come and visit, even if it's foreign tourists as well. But if we protect our environment, it means that it has an ongoing effect and people will visit it more and more. So daar is voordele of die voordele van binnelandse toerisme vir Suid-Afrika is ons het nou al gesien oor die afgelope paar jaar het die binnelandse toerisme geleidelik gegroei. So dit beteken dat daar wel 'n verandering in die binnelandse toerisme vir Suid-Afrikaners is en vir Suid-Afrika as 'n land is. Navorsing het gewys dat in 2009 plus minus 15 miljoen Suid-Afrikaners omtrent 35 miljoen trips gemaak het, reise gemaak het binne in ons land. En dan hierdie groot hoeveelheid binnelandse reise wat plaasvind, beïnvloed ons ekonomie en ons omgewing. Dit beïnvloed ons omgewing deurdat mense nou geld spandeer binne in ons land en dat hulle na sekere plekke of areas toe kan reis, maar dit beteken ook dat ons omgewing moet oppas, want as ons omgewing oppas, verseker ons dan 'n stabiele inkomste en dat mense nog steeds na die verskillende plekke toe sal kom in ons land. We are still on the benefits of domestic tourism for South Africa. We are now going to look at the 3 pillars that the tourism industry stands on. So the first one is the economy, second one is people, and the third one is the environment. If we first of all look at the economy, when people travel in our country, it means that they actually spend money in places, on accommodation, on souvenirs that they buy, on food that they buy, and that contributes to the economy and the development of certain places in our country. The infrastructure is better, services and amenities can be maintained and improved with money spent on tourism. Because if we spend money in a certain area, it means that the government of that area can use that money to actually improve the infrastructure, to improve the services and amenities, and maintain the attractions that people come to visit. It also contributes to the GDP of South Africa, which means that our country also, as a holistic view, can also benefit from this income. And if the domestic tourism keeps on growing, it makes sure that that the tourism industry contributes to our economy. Then if we look at the next pillar, which is people, tourism is a very labor-intensive sector, and it also has a great variety that we can offer people in our sector. This means that tourism creates jobs, and because as tourism develops, jobs are created within our industry. So if there's a need, we need to fill that need with a certain demand, which means that that jobs are created. Because the jobs are created, we fulfill that need of the tourists that visits those certain places. It creates opportunities for local businesses to start a small business. So say for instance, if we take the Northern Cape, there's an opportunity for people or for the community to start a small business in selling either craft work or beadwork or anything that they can manufacture or create within that area that tourists might want to buy or might want to look at. There are many attractions in rural areas. When tourists visit that area, they support the local business and it promotes growth. Domestic tourism also gives people the opportunity to learn about the country. So even for us as South Africans, if we travel to other parts that we are not used to or not familiar with, we learn more about our country, what our country can offer. We learn about different people and different cultures that we are not necessarily used to in our country. Then if you look at the environment, the domestic tourism creates awareness of natural and cultural awareness, because now people are becoming more and more aware of the different activities or facilities that our country can offer. It creates also an awareness to preserve our country's environment for present and future generations. The revenue from domestic tourism helps us to pay to protect these natural areas. It helps us to develop our parks and reserves and to preserve our cultural heritage. Because if we don't have money, if we think of Boulders Beach, where the penguins stays, that's a national protected area. If we don't, or if that area don't receive money, they won't be able to keep up that natural area, protect still the penguins. So that's why it's very important for domestic tourists to actually spend money so that we can protect and preserve these areas. And then as people become more aware of the environment, tourists will understand why it's important to help prevent all forms of pollution, if it's air pollution, noise pollution, whatever pollution, so that we can preserve these areas so that the income will still be continuous. Goed, so vir die Afrikaanse leerders, ons kyk nou na die 3 pilare waarop die toerisme-industrie gebaseer is en wat se voordele hierdie 3 pilare dan kan inhou vir binnelandse toerisme. So die 3 pilare is ons ekonomie, ons mense en ons omgewing. So as ons eerstens kyk na die ekonomie, so wanneer mense reis in ons land, spandeer hulle geld op sekere goederes. So dit dra dan by tot ons ekonomie en dit help dan ook om sekere plekke te ontwikkel. So waar dan nou nie ontwikkeling is nie, sodat daar dan weer meer ontwikkeling kan plaasvind. Dit help om die infrastruktuur, die dienste en dan geriewe te verbeter of te onderhou en soos wat mense dan of toeriste dan nou geld spandeer op sekere dinge in sekere plekke, kan die regering van daai spesifieke area dan daai geld gebruik om hierdie infrastruktuur te verbeter. Dit dra dan ook by tot die BBP wat Suid-Afrika in totaliteit kan bevorder en help om ons land te laat groei. So met ander woorde, hoe meer binnelandse toerisme plaasvind, hoe meer dra dit by tot ons ekonomiese sektor en dit help dan in die algemeen Suid-Afrika as 'n land. Goed, as ons kyk na ons mense, toerisme is 'n baie arbeidsintensiewe sektor, wat beteken dat daar 'n groot verskeidenheid van werke beskikbaar gestel kan word as gevolg van die behoefte wat daar dan nou ontstaan, soos wat binnelandse toerisme dan nou verbeter of groei. Met ander woorde, daar word werk dan geskep in die industrie en dat dit help dan ook dat dit almal bevorder in daai omgewing deurdat almal dan nou ook 'n inkomste kry. Dit help ook om ons plaaslike gemeenskappe, dit help hulle om klein besighede te begin. So as ons byvoorbeeld dink aan die Noord-Kaap, waar daar nie altyd so baie mense na heen toe gaan nie, daar kan gemeenskappe dan nou begin kreatief dink en hulle eie klein besighede begin, wat toeriste sal lok om dan nou na daai areas toe ook te gaan. Goed, daar is ook baie attraksies in ons plattelandse areas en toeriste wil dan ook dan hierdie of ons moet help om dan hierdie plekke dan ook te bemark en te bevorder en dit help dan ook dat die plaaslike besighede sal groei en dit help dan ook dat groei in die algemeen gebeur in daardie areas. Binnelandse toeriste gee ook ons die geleentheid om ons eie land te ontdek. Daar is party mense wat nie bevoorreg genoeg is om deur ons hele land te kan reis nie en soos wat binnelandse toerisme dan nou groei, leer ons dan ook van ons eie land, van ons eie mense en van ons eie kulture. As ons kyk na die omgewing, binnelandse toerisme help ons dan ook om sekere bewustheid te skep met betrekking tot ons natuurlike en kulturele omgewing, soos dat mense dan nou begin reis, sien hulle wat dan daar ook in ons land beskikbaar is en hulle kom dan nou agter wat se natuurlike plekke daar is. So dit help ook om dan 'n bewustheid te skep in terme van om hierdie plekke te bewaar vir toekomstige geslagte, want as ons hierdie plekke bewaar, beteken dit dat daar nog steeds 'n konstante vloei van inkomste kan wees, omdat daar nog steeds plekke is waarheen mense kan gaan. So met die inkomste wat die mense of die plekke dan genereer as gevolg van binnelandse toerisme, help dit dan ook om ons parke nie net te bewaar nie, maar ook te help ontwikkel en dan nog steeds te bewaar. En dit help dan ook om ons kulturele plekke of kulturele erfenis te bewaar. So as ons dink aan Bolderstrand waar die pikkewyne is, as daar nie inkomste is of as ons nie gereeld daai plek bemark nie, beteken dit dat ons dat dit dalk kan verhoed dat die park kan aanhou groei of dat ons nog steeds die pikkewyne kan bewaar. So dis belangrik dat ons hierdie geld gebruik om daai plekke te bewaar en nog steeds te onderhou. En dan soos wat mense dan nou bewus word van hierdie omgewings, help dit dan ook vir toeriste om te verstaan hoekom hulle dan enige vorm van besoedeling moet teenstaan en help om dit nie te laat plaasvind nie, of dit nou lugbesoedeling is, of geraasbesoedeling, of enige besoedeling wat kan veroorsaak dat dat ons omgewing of dat ons natuurlike omgewing dalk skade kan ly. Okay, so the next portion that we're going to look at is now actually to promote our domestic tourism in South Africa. Okay, we can do this by when tourist organizations promote domestic tourists and encourage people to travel in our country. We can help to grow domestic tourism by encouraging tourists to all parts of South Africa, not just the popular parts in South Africa, but unpopular parts of South Africa. Marketing tourism to our population, encourage group trips and short trips. We can also do this by better and more attractive advertisements to be used. We can also encourage tourists to stay longer at the destination, which means that they will spend more. Developing a holiday culture, as we said at the beginning, we need to make South African population activities at destinations that can attract tourists and encourage people to travel all year long by offering them discounts and cheaper off-season rates, and to market less well-known attractions to people. So hoe bevorder ons nou hierdie binnelandse toerisme in Suid-Afrika? Ons kan dit doen deur toeriste organisasies aan te moedig om binnelandse toeriste te bemark en om mense aan te raai om nog steeds in ons land te reis. Ons kan dit ook doen deur toeriste aan te moedig om na alle dele van Suid-Afrika toe te gaan, nie net na ons populêre dele in Suid-Afrika nie. Ons moet dan ook toerisme bemark aan die hele bevolking, so ons moet maniere kry om dit te doen. Ons moet groepreise aanbeveel en dan ook korter wegbreuke. Ons moet seker maak dat die advertensies wat ons gebruik beter en aanloklik is vir toeriste om dit dan op die ou einde te doen. Ons moet ook toeriste aanraai om langer te bly by 'n plek, maar dit beteken ook dat hulle meer geld daar sal spandeer. Ons moet kyk hoe ons 'n vakansiekultuur kan ontwikkel in ons land. Ons kan ook meer aktiwiteite aanbied by ons bestemmings wat toeriste sal trek na daai bestemmings toe. Ons moet ook seker daarop maak dat mense reg deur die jaar reis en ons kan dit doen deur spesiale aanbiedinge te maak of dit goedkoper te maak en buite seisoen tariewe aan te bied vir mense. En dan moet ons ook attraksies bemark wat nie so bekend is vir ons toeriste mark nie. Okay, so in an aid to do this, SA Tourism launched successfully a program or a campaign that promotes domestic tourism. And this campaign is known as Sho't Left. Okay, so if we look at Sho't Left literally means, in Afrikaans we say, a slap links. And this originated as a South African taxi language. Today or now, it means a short journey or a quick getaway. This was first launched in 2004, but was relaunched in 2008. So the Sho't Left campaign also depicts South Africa as a fun, affordable destination for young people who wants to travel. You will also see, I will show you an advert now about the Sho't Left campaign. It shows young people who travels in every province of South Africa, once again making people aware that there are other attractions available in South Africa that they can visit. They campaign to target young people and it focus on tourism experiences in adventure, entertainment and nightlife. Goed, so SA Toerisme het 'n veldtog geloods wat baie suksesvol was om binnelandse toerisme dan te bemark. So hierdie bemark of hierdie veldtog was die Sho't Left veldtog. Sho't Left beteken 'n slap links en dit het dan ontstaan uit die taxi taal wat daar gepraat word in Suid-Afrika. Vandag beteken Sho't Left 'n kort wegbreek of 'n kort reis wat gedoen word deur ons toeriste in Suid-Afrika. Dit was die eerste keer bekendgestel in 2004, maar was herbekendgestel in 2008. So dit wys Suid-Afrika regtig as 'n lekker bekostigbare bestemming vir jong mense wat wil reis En ek sal nou vir julle 'n advertensie wys van Sho't Left en dit wys regtig jong mense en hoe hulle reis in elke provinsie van ons land om nie net te wys in ons eie land nie of net in een provinsie, maar in al die provinsies van Suid-Afrika. Goed, so hierdie veldtog is dan regtig daarop gefokus om jong mense te kry om te begin reis en dit wys dan ook waar daar avontuur, vermaak en naglewe is wat hierdie jong mense kan geniet. If we're still going, we're still looking at the Sho't Left campaign. People handling this campaign work with or in conjunction with the Association of the South African Travel Agents or the ATASA. Please familiarize yourself with these abbreviations. And it's easier for their members of the public to get information about affordable holidays. So that is ultimately what the Sho't Left campaign also focuses on, is to make information available to the public. SA Tourism and SATA collaborates in a Sho't Left entrepreneurial program, and it's to make sure that we or to create an opportunity for previously disadvantaged South Africans to be trained as travel agents. So they train them to sell vacation packages to our fellow South Africans. You can also visit their website, and their website also helps South Africans to plan local holidays. The website also provides information on holiday packages, and travelers can actually book their holidays directly on the website. So it makes it really easy for people to plan their next holiday. So die Sho't Left veldtog, die mense wat met hierdie veldtog werk in samewerking met die Vereniging van Suid-Afrikaanse Reisagente, of ATASA. So maak seker dat jy jouself bekend maak met die afkorting. Dit maak dit regtig makliker vir die publiek om nou inligting te kry oor bekostigbare vakansies, want hulle gaan doen navorsing om te kyk of hoe hulle die publiek kan help om bekostigbare vakansies wel te kan meemaak. En dan die mense van SA Toerisme en hierdie Vereniging van Suid-Afrikaanse Reisagente werk in samewerking met mekaar om dan ook 'n entrepreneurprogram te gestig het. En hierdie program help dan ook om vorig benadeelde Suid-Afrikaners op te lei as reisagente. En hierdie agente is dan regtig daarop gefokus om binnelandse vakansies te bemark aan Suid-Afrikaners. Ek sal nou vir julle ook wys, daar's 'n webtuiste wat help om Suid-Afrikaners aan hierdie vakansies te beplan. So jy kan direk na hulle webtuiste toe gaan en daar is inligting oor vakansiepakkette en dan kan reisigers ook direk op die webtuiste hulle vakansie boek. So hulle maak dit regtig vir die mense makliker om dan te sien waar daar dan bekostigbare vakansieplekke in Suid-Afrika is. So if we look specifically at the Sho't Left campaign, the first picture that you see here is the website of Sho't Left. So die eerste foto wat julle hier kan sien is die webtuiste van die Sho't Left veldtog. The second picture is an advertisement. So here you can see it's young people that they are showing, and they are traveling throughout our country. So dis jong mense wat in die advertensies gebruik word om regtig te wys wat daar in ons land aangebied kan word. And then the last picture you can see here is just the logo of the Sho't Left campaign. So die laaste prentjie is dan net 'n prentjie van die Sho't Left campaign se of veldtog se logo. Sodat jy as jy hierdie prentjie sien dan weet jy hulle praat van Sho't Left. Okay, so at this stage, I just quickly want to see a few hands because I just want to see if everybody is still with me and if you are still understanding what we are discussing today. Okay, perfect. I see that most of you are still on track. Okay, now we are going on to the next, which is the domestic tourism statistics. Now we're going to look at the specific statistics with regards to domestic tourism. Okay, so what is statistics? Statistics is the numerical data obtained by research. And where do we get the statistics from? We get it from Statistics South Africa, and then they give it to SA Tourism. And then they collect these tourism related data, and then they interpret this data in either tables or graphs to present their findings, what we see with regards to domestic tourism. Okay, then we look at the difference between intra-provincial travel and inter-provincial travel. So first of all, if we look at intra-provincial travel, this means that you travel in the same province. An example of this is a tourist traveling from Pretoria to Johannesburg. They are still traveling in the same province, which is Gauteng, and this makes up 60% of our domestic tourist travels. Then if we look at inter-provincial travels, this is traveling from one province to another. An example of this is a tourist traveling from Mpumalanga to Limpopo, which means that they are traveling in two different provinces, and it makes up 40% of our domestic tourist travel. They can give you examples of either one of these two, and then you need to identify which type of traveler they are talking about. So please just make sure that intra, it means that it's in the same province, and inter means that it's in between two different provinces. So as ons nou kyk na binnelandse toerisme statistieke, kyk ons eerstens na of vra ons eers onsself af, wat is statistiek? So statistiek is die numeriese data wat verkry word deur navorsing. En Statistiek Suid-Afrika help SA Toerisme om hierdie inligting te bekom, wat hulle dan verwerk, en hierdie data word dan uitgedruk in of tabelle of grafieke, om dan hulle verskillende bevindinge bloot te stel of vry te stel, sodat hulle kan agterkom wat binnelandse toerisme alles behels. Dan kyk ons spesifiek na wat die verskil is tussen intraprovinsiale reise en interprovinsiale reise. As ons kyk na intraprovinsiale reise, beteken dit dat mense in dieselfde provinsie reis. Met ander woorde, dis 'n reisiger wat reis van Pretoria na Johannesburg. Met ander woorde, hulle reis nog steeds in Gauteng, wat nog steeds net een provinsie is, en dit maak 60% van ons binnelandse toeriste reise, of dit verteenwoordig 60% daarvan. Dan interprovinsiale reise beteken ons reis van een provinsie na 'n ander. 'n Voorbeeld hiervan is dat ons reis van Mpumalanga na Limpopo toe, wat beteken dat ons in twee verskillende provinsies reis, en dit maak omtrent 40% op van ons binnelandse reise. Now we're going to look at the interpretation of statistics. So tourism statistics is obtained by reports compiled by SA Tourism and Statistics South Africa, as we already discussed. They then compile reports from this data, and they then look at this or compare this new data to previous years, and then they make sure that they collect all of these data and interpret it, and this then helps us to see or identify the domestic travel patterns. Okay, soos wat ons reeds genoem het, ons kyk na toerisme statistieke. En hierdie inligting word verkry van SA Toerisme en Statistiek Suid-Afrika, en hulle kombineer dit dan in verslae. Hierdie verslae word dan vergelyk met vorige jare se data wat dan reeds ontvang is, en dan help dit hulle om sekere inligting te interpreteer. So hierdie statistieke help dan ook vir ons om te sien wat die binnelandse reispatrone is. So dan kan ons agterkom hoe en waar ons binnelandse toerisme kan bevorder. So the first aspect that they usually look at if we interpret domestic tourism is the purpose of travel. They want to understand, why do tourists want to travel in our country? So the main reasons that domestic tourists usually travel is to visit family and friends. We all know that most of us, or some of us, have people living in different provinces in our country, and it makes us, if we want to go and visit those friends and family, it means that we are a domestic tourist and we travel to visit our friends and family. The second reason is usually then also for holiday. Another reason is for business. Another reason is for religious opportunities, or then even for medical reasons. People traveling, say for instance, from the Northern Cape to Gauteng because of medical reasons or of whatever reason might cause them to travel. So die eerste afdeling waarna hulle gewoonlik kyk of waar hulle gewoonlik in belangstel is die rede of die doel hoekom daar gereis word. So die hoofredes vir binnelandse reise is gewoonlik om vriende en familie te gaan besoek. Soos ons almal weet, is meeste van ons families is maar versprei oor ons land, wat beteken dat ons sê maar argumentsonthaalwe in Gauteng bly, en ons gaan kuier vir vriende of familie wat in KwaZulu-Natal bly, wat beteken dan word ons outomaties binnelandse toeriste. Of ons kan gaan vakansie hou, ons kan daar Kaap toe gaan en daar gaan vakansie hou. 'n ander rede is vir besigheid, mense reis vir besigheid, vir geloofsgeleenthede of dan selfs vir mediese redes kan mense reis. Of wat dan 'n hoofrede sal wees hoekom mense sal reis. The next aspect that they usually look at is seasonality. So they want to interpret and they want to understand why people only travel with regards to seasonality. So there are certain times of the year when tourists travel more. And research has shown, and I suppose all of you will know that we can feel it on our highways. When it's school holiday, there is less people or less traveling taking place because people usually then travel when it's school holidays. And to boost domestic tourism, we must encourage people to actually travel out of season. And how can we do this? We can do this by giving them a discount on packages or give them out of season rates to encourage people to actually travel more. So die volgende sektor of die volgende ding waarna mense of waarna SA Toerisme en dan Statistiek Suid-Afrika kyk, is seasonaliteit gebondenheid. So hoekom reis mense net sekere tye van die jaar? So ek is seker daarvan ons almal weet dit of ons almal kan voel op ons nasionale hoofweë, is wanneer dit skoolvakansie is, kan ons regtig 'n verskil sien veral in Gauteng dat mense dan nou reis wanneer dit skoolvakansies is. En dan om binnelandse toerisme dan nou weer te bevorder of 'n hupstoot te gee, moet ons mense dan aanraai om reg deur die jaar te reis. Dit kan gedoen word deur spesiale aanbiedinge te maak of dan buite seisoen tariewe aan te bied wat mense dan nou sal aanspoor of aanraai om dan nou verder of reg deur die jaar te reis. Okay, so the next thing that they usually look at is also most visited province. Why are some provinces more visited than others? Research has also shown that KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng is usually a large source of our domestic tourism, and that KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape are usually under the main destinations that people go to. So die volgende aspek of die volgende groepering waarna hulle kyk met betrekking tot binnelandse toerisme en die statistieke daarachter is watse provinsies word die meeste besoek. So navorsing het al gewys dat KwaZulu-Natal en Gauteng van ons grootste bronne is van binnelandse toerisme. Dit is ook maar wat daai provinsies kan bied vir ons toeriste en dan ons hoof bestemmings is dan onder andere KwaZulu-Natal en die Oos-Kaap. Okay, the next sector that we look at is how long tourists actually stay in a province. So in 2009, statistics has shown that domestic travel has indicated that people stay more or less 4.5 nights in a province. Business-related trips has shown that they stay more or less 7 nights for their trip, and then holiday-related travels has shown that it's more or less 5 nights that they stay. Okay, so die volgende aspek waarna mense kyk is hoe lank toeriste in 'n provinsie bly. So in 2009 het die statistieke gewys dat die binnelandse reise min of meer 4.5 nagte geduur het. Vir besigheidsreise so plus minus 7 nagte en vir vakansieredes so plus minus 5 nagte. Okay, I have given you here an example of a graph that you can expect in a test or an examination. So what I can do is you will see here at the bottom, it's 2013, 14, and 15 that they compare with one another in terms of nights stayed at a certain place. So here they have compared the 3 years and they have done that by allocating a certain color to a certain year. So you can either use the graph here or you can look at the totals here at the bottom. So they can typically ask you a question. For example, if you look at 2013, 14, and 15, which year has shown the most overnight stays in December? Then you would go to December and we would see that the statistics shows us that 16.4 nights were stayed in 2013 compared to 2014 and 15, which means that 2013 shows us that was the year with the most overnight stays for December, for the month of December. So that is typically how you would be, how you might be asked in a test or an examination to interpret certain statistics. So ek het vir julle hierso 'n grafiek gegee. So daar kan van julle in 'n toets of 'n eksamen verwag word om sekere statistieke te interpreteer. So soos julle hier kan sien is daar nou 'n grafiek met die jare 2013, 14 en 15 waarin op die grafiek gewys word en dan is hier onder ook inligting waarna julle kan kyk. So hulle kan tipies vir julle is 'n vraag vra soos in watter jaar was daar die meeste aande wat oorgebly was in Desember? Dan as ons byvoorbeeld dan hierso kyk, sal ons sien dat 16.4 die hoogste getal is, wat beteken dat 2013 was die jaar wat daar die meeste nagte oorgebly was vir die maand van Desember. So dit is tipies hoe hulle vir julle dalk kan verwag om statistieke te interpreteer in 'n toets of in 'n eksamen. Goed. Okay, the next aspect that we're going to look at is the average amount of money spent per tourist. Okay, so they want to understand how much money people actually spend when they are traveling with regards to domestic tourism. So once again, in 2009, domestic tourism revenue was 22.4 billion, which is 14% down from 2018 because they compare it now to different years. And the decrease was caused because fewer people could afford to travel in 2009 compared to 2008. So once again, they can give you a graph or statistics like you can see here. Then they can ask you something like, if you take transport, accommodation, tour packaging, and cultural services into account, they can ask you, for instance, in what year did tourists spend more money on transport? Then you can say, okay, we can see here that transport was spent more in 2010, 2011, than 2014, 2015. Then if they say with regards to accommodation, what was the highest amount that was spent with regards to the 2 years, with regards to travel, then you can say it was 7.6 billion rand that was spent on accommodation in the years of 2014, 2015. Goed, so die volgende aspek waarna ons kyk is die hoeveelheid geld wat toeriste dan nou spandeer op weet wanneer hulle reis. As ons kyk weer eens na 2019 was die binnelandse toerisme se opbrengs 22,4 miljard rand wat 14% minder was as 2008, want onthou hulle vergelyk nou jare met mekaar om te sien wat die neiging is of wat die patroon dan nou is van toeriste. En hulle skryf hierdie afname toe aan die feit dat mense minder geld gehad het in 2009 as in 2008 om dan nou te spandeer op reise. Dan weer eens het ek sommer net vir julle 'n voorbeeld van 'n grafiek ingesit. Hulle kan vir julle vra, as julle dan nou kyk in terme van vervoer, akkommodasie, toerpakkette en kultuurdienste, dan kan hulle byvoorbeeld vir julle vra, in watter jaar was daar meer spandeer op vervoer? Dan kan ons sien, okay, goed, as ons sien hierso hierdie pinkerige kleur, dit was dan vir die jare 2010, 2011, so met ander woorde, daar was meer spandeer in 2010, 2011 aan vervoer as in 2014, 2015. Dan kan hulle vir julle ook byvoorbeeld ietsie vra van hoeveel rand was daar spandeer op akkommodasie in die jare 2014-2015. Dan kan ons net kyk en dit aflees, met ander woorde 7,6 biljoen rand was dan spandeer op akkommodasie. So dit is die tipiese vraag wat hulle julle kan vra in terme van statistieke. Okay, the last aspect that we're going to look at is the activities that domestic tourists actually participate in. So they can do research on that, and it shows that domestic tourists like social activities like shopping, nightlife, and nature-based activities, which means that we can focus on these activities to actually draw our domestic tourists to a specific area if we know what activities they like to participate in. So die laaste aspek waarna ons kyk is die aktiwiteite waarin binnelandse toeriste deelneem, en navorsing het nou al gewys dat binnelandse toeriste hou van sosiale aktiwiteite wat inkopies, die naglewe en natuurgebaseerde aktiwiteite insluit. En ons kan dan hierdie tot ons voordeel gebruik om dan binnelandse toerisme te bemark deur hierdie aktiwiteite te gebruik om mense te lok na sekere areas toe. Okay, so we've covered once again a lot of theory today with regards to domestic tourism, and then we need to now know how we can apply this theory to a specific scenario. So I've given you a few questions that they can ask on domestic tourism and statistics thereof. So first of all, if we look at the first question over here, is they can ask you something like, define the following terms. What is domestic tourism? Explain what you understand under domestic tourism. What is short left? What do you understand with regards to short left? Then they can give you, as I said, statistics that you need to interpret, as you can see over here. Then they can ask you typical questions like, if the visitor resides in Gauteng and they visit family in Gauteng, will they be classified as an intra or interprovincial tourist? Then you need to give your answer with regards to that. Second question, if a visitor resides from another province and they visit family in Gauteng, they will be classified as an intra or interprovincial tourist. So then once again, you have to give your answer with regards to that scenario. Then they can make you look at this statistics that they've given here. Then they can ask you something like, suggest one reason why the following activities reflect high numbers of participation if we look at specifically shopping. As we said in the previous slide, domestic tourists likes certain activities. They like shopping, they like the nightlife, so it's something that attracts them. So you can say something like, it's something that attracts domestic tourists and they like to do, which means that there will be more people spending more money on shopping. And then the same, you must also elaborate when it comes to leisure. Why do you think that there's 14% of the reasons why people travel is for leisure? Then the last type of question that I can ask, or another question that I can ask you, is to discuss two ways how more people can be convinced to travel domestically. So how can we convince people to travel domestically? We can convince them by making affordable packages, to make more attractive advertisements, to actually encourage people to travel domestically. So that's just some of the ways that we can help them to, or promote them to travel domestically. So graad 10, ons het nou baie teorie behandel, maar hoe pas ons nou hierdie teorie nou op 'n sekere scenario in 'n toets of 'n eksamen? Tipiese vrae wat jy kan kry is soos byvoorbeeld om sekere terme te definieer. Met ander woorde, hulle kan vir julle vra iets soos, wat is binnelandse toerisme? Dan moet jy dit kan definieer. Of wat is short left? En dan moet jy dit kan definieer in jou eie woorde. Dan kan hulle byvoorbeeld vir julle statistieke gee, soos wat julle hier kan sien. En dan kan hulle vir julle sekere vrae rondom hierdie statistieke vra om dit te interpreteer. So typiese vrae sal wees soos byvoorbeeld, as iemand in Gauteng bly en hy besoek familie in Gauteng, sal hy geklassifiseer word as 'n intra of interprovinsiale toerist. Dan moet jy jou antwoord daar volgens gee, of volgens daai tipe scenario. Of hulle kan vir jou vra, as 'n besoeker in 'n ander provinsie bly en hy besoek dan nou familie in Gauteng, word hy dan geklassifiseer as 'n intra of interprovinsiale toerist. Dan moet jy jou antwoord daar volgens gee. Dan verwys hulle gewoonlik weer terug na die statistieke soos hierbo, dan kan hulle vir julle vra, gee een rede hoekom jy dink daar sulke hoë nommers is, hoekom mense reis of deelneem aan byvoorbeeld inkopies of dan vermaak. Soos wat ons gesien het in die vorige skyfie, is dat mense hou van inkopies doen, hulle hou van die naglewe, hulle hou daarvan om geëntertain te word. So dit is iets wat mense lok om te wil reis. So die rede daarvoor is dat mense daarvan hou, dit is vir hulle lekker om te doen. So dit kan dalk 'n rede wees hoekom daar sulke hoë nommers is, hoekom mense daarvan hou om inkopies te doen. Dieselfde moet jy kan doen dan ook vir vermaak of ontspanning eerder. 'n ander tipiese vraag is, noem 2 maniere of 2 dinge wat ons kan doen om mense te oortuig om binnelands te reis. Soos wat ons al reeds genoem het in hierdie aanbieding is, 'n rede kan wees of 'n manier kan wees om goedkoper pakkette aan te bied of 'n laer buiteseisoentariewe aan te bied of om ons advertensies meer aanlokkerliker te maak. Al daardie dinge kan bydra om dan uiteindelik te verseker dat mense binnelands wil reis. Okay, so grade 10 learners, I know it is a lot of information and a lot of theory that we've covered. I just quickly want to ask you once again to just quickly raise your hand if all of you understood what was said today and if you understand or have a better understanding with regards to statistics and domestic tourism. So Graad 10, ek wil net weet as julle dalk net gou julle handjies weer vir my kan opsteek, as julle verstaan het wat ons vandag behandel het en waaroor binnelandse toerisme gaan, en hoekom dit nodig is om sekere statistieke rondom toerisme of binnelandse toerisme dan te hê. Goed, ek sien dat daar daarom redelike handjies is. Then I ask you, please, if you have any questions, if you can put it for us in the question box, we will have a look at it and make sure that we answer all of your questions with regards to the theory that we have covered today, or if you have any questions that you need answered. Then I want to thank you for joining our session today. And I want to ask you, if you are not registered with Impact, or if you have any other questions, please send us an email to info@impact.co.za, and we will most gladly get back to you. So baie dankie Graad 10 dat julle vandag se sessie bygewoon het. Sterkte met die res van die kwartaal. En dan as jy nie geregistreer is by Impact nie, asseblief stuur vir ons 'n e-pos aan info@impact.co.za. En dan sal ons seker maak dat ons terugkom na julle toe. So baie dankie. Thank you very much for joining our session today, and we will hopefully see you soon.